Hello, and welcome back, friendos, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Today we'll be checking out Cucina Stellata. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I think in English that's starred cuisine. It's a atmospheric horror game or experience set in 19th century Italy, Romagna Italy to be specific, I guess. Stepping into the shoes of a solitary writer and gourmet, inspired by the historical figure of Pellegrino Artusu, as a midnight snack spirals into the unexpected is some of the description there. There's like no jump scares or anything like that, no chases. It's just, I think, all atmospheric. Yeah, sounds interesting, looks decent. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Cecina Stelletta starred cuisine. 19th century, somewhere in the countryside of Romagna, Italy. Said I struggle with English even, and I'm sorry. It's my first language. Hmm. Is it an alien? Or just a meteor? If it's an alien, I bet it's like a little meaty meteor. Great harm comes to those who let themselves be conquered by wine. Little by little, they grow nauseated by food and find nourishment almost entirely in drink. Thus, they degrade themselves in the eyes of the world, becoming ridiculous, dangerous, and beastly. Pellegrino Artusi. Move forward, turn 90 degrees, turn 90 degrees, volume, exit, and interact. Press any key to continue. Add the oil to the pan. Come on, oil. That's oil, right? But it said click to... maybe that's not the right oil. Okay, there we go. Chop the onion, carrot, and celery, and add them to the pan. I should probably turn it down just a tiny bit. I am sorry. That's pretty loud in my ears, so... I imagine it's fairly loud there, too. Should be fine, though. It's only a few seconds. Chop the meat and add it to the pan. It's probably still pretty loud. Ah, that's why. Place the tortelli in the pot. Huh. Right in the notebook. They say that curiosity is a dangerous trap, leading man into abysses from which he can never return. It is the same hypocritical world, which claims not to care about food, that makes no civil or religious celebration without eventually spreading the tablecloth and trying to eat as heartily as possible. Therefore, I say, always choose for your raw materials the finest goods, for these will make an impression. And if this precious fruit, of who knows where origin, is as rare as I believe, it must cost as much or even more than truffles. But caution must be exercised, with hope and fervor, for hidden prayers already hold future sorrow. I am repulsed by witnessing, as they say, the desecration of God's grace, yet indulgence and appetite are too great. They say that curiosity is a... Oh, wait. Oh, that's what that button does. Okay, I thought it continued. Add the tortelli to the pan. Plate the dish. Is this because of something that was in the tortelli? Meals like these make me feel like a neophyte in the kitchen and in the art of tasting. Not only the quality, but the sheer delight leaves me astonished and my dreams fulfilled. Its sauce blends with so many dishes, keeping such excellent company that it's worth the effort to satisfy every curiosity and rekindle the fire and the stoves, to get back to work and plunge, like a deep-sea diver, in search of the goodness and beauty I adore. I often say that one should only return to food when the stomach persistently cries out for help, yet I inherited almost unbridled erotic instincts from nature, at times nearly ruining my health and everything else. Moreover, if man neither craved food nor experienced sexual stimulation, the human race would soon perish. So here I am again, casseroles, pots, and lids. Open your legs, aromas of the undergrowth, sautés and braids of garlic, for I have returned amongst you. Grab the onion, carrot, and celery from the shelf and add them. Grab the onion, carrot, and celery from the shelf and add them to the pot. But we're not done eating yet. Grab the onion, carrot. Okay, well, more chopping, I guess. One, two, and three. All right. Go to the cellar, grab the cleaver, and cut the meat. God damn. Was an alien. God damn. Alright, well. Jesus. I really had a feeling when the, I forgot to close the door. When the, meteor crashed there. Is that? It's the food man. I forgot his name already. Arturo? Oh, place the meat on the cutting board and dust it with flour. Add the meat to the pan. Pour the broth from the pot into the pan. Okay. Pour the tomato sauce into the pan. Write in the notebook. I quiver in anticipation and can barely restrain my restless, twitching finger that ceaselessly torments my beard, as if trying to spread the remnants of a flavor that once passed through it. It is neither sweet, nor bitter, nor sour, nor salty. Perhaps it isn't even a flavor, not really. It's a sensation, an enchanting shiver that sneaks into the mouth and throat, something slimy and indefinable that leaves behind a brutal echo, an aftertaste that never fades. There is no way to describe it, for no words exist to define it. I want some of this, damn it. Plate the dish and eat some alien, I guess. It is certainly a flavor, but not one that human taste has ever experienced before, nor could it ever hope to savor. As far as you know, a shadow that does not exist on the world's taste buds and that seems to feed, alternately and contrary, on something within me. Even every other ingredient appears diseased, contaminated by its proximity, producing twisted fruits with a taste so warped that no one would dare try them, except those who, unbound by the dogmas and chains imposed by traditional cuisine, claim for themselves a flavor that is not of this world. It is like a painter's discovery of a new color or a chilling nuance, one that seems as though it had always been available, ignored in a remote corner of our darkened iris, atrophied, unaccustomed to surprise, and unprepared for shock. Yeah, that sounds damn good. Oh my lord. I'm assuming we're gonna have to go chop some more meat. Or did he escape? Because, I mean, you can only stay restrained for so long if you keep chopping off the parts that are, you know, being restrained. Yep, go to the cellar, grab the cleaver, and cut the meat. I had a feeling. I guess it makes sense to leave the hand behind because of the amount of, you know, little bones. Jesus Christ, okay, well. Real nice choice cut from the innards, I guess. Go to this. Oh my god, go to the cellar, grab the white wine and pour it into the pan. Why not leave the door open then? Yeah. Makes sense that he wouldn't really be, you know, alive, I guess, at that point. God. Add the broth to the pan. Right in the notebook. Once it was said that pottage was man's fodder, but this one seems more like the fare of angels and devils, ogres and Mazipugal, Magalasi and Marmasul, spirits and essences of myth. Is pottage? I don't know. I feel my stomach gnashing its teeth, eagerly preparing for a bestial feast. I listen to the ancestral call of hunger and distinguish every word it utters. Now the palate, now the colon, now even the bile itself, with its acidic tides, and still the shrieking taste buds, singing their clear, piercing notes. As the pleasure unfolds, alas, a vortex rises from the depths of my innards. A force so impetuous, a spasmodic outburst that fills me with understanding and compassion for all those wild, primitive beasts, ruled by passion and the violence of flesh. God. Chop it again? Okay, grab the bread from the shelf and slice it. Spread the meat on the bread. Plate the dish. The liver, I bet. I mean, honestly, if an alien was so humanoid, I don't think I would try and eat it, really. I mean, I get the call of hunger, but my word, certain laws lie hidden within the nature of taste, such that I couldn't have never imagined. I feel every fiber of my body twisting and writhing, seized by a new sensation with every bite. For this flesh does not belong to the earth, nor does this flavor conform to the human order. After a single, meager taste, such is its power that all other food loses its usual virtues. Wine turns to water, bread crumbles into ash, and even the air seems laden with an imperceptible scent. Nothing washes away this shadow upon my tongue, as if my very body were learning a new way to perceive the world, a way both wrong and forbidden. And yet, what is most terrifying, in the heart of this damp night, with my throat parched and my stomach emptying so swiftly, is that something inside me still longs for that flavor. Good God. Just right to the cellar to cut the meat. It does not look good anymore. Oh. Jesus. Right in the notebook, we're just, okay, alright, well. I mean, there is some broth in there. What misfortune, what ill-fated news, O wretched swamp, O foul quagmire, O unholy land that has sheltered me since I was a child. Have you no pity for your own children? You let no food stay wholesome for long, and this one, amongst all, so sweet and precious, you can barely stand abundance, a curse upon you. Okay, go to the cellar and grab an egg. Oh, hey, we left the door open. Place it in the bowl. Add the oh shit, the flour. Add the oil. Okay. Cut the meat. Re-dredging it. Dust the meat with flour. Coat the meat with batter. Okay. Oh my god. Add the oil to the pan. Add the meat to the pan. I knew it. We're gonna add broth. Right in the notebook again. Okay. I cannot but entrust myself to fate. May this change in appearance and these vapors, despite the stench, enhance the flavor as they do for grappas, seasoned cheeses, and cured meats. For I well know that spoiled foods, at times, hold unexpected effects. Eat. Trip to the brain. Trip to the brain. This time, the tasting was like a walk through the height of summer, a murky, tangled path through a flowering garden, where the way was painted in color and breathed fragrances like a dream. In that vast and luminous expanse, it seemed as if the entire course of my life flowed before me. The path opened beneath an arch of dentate ivy. I made my way down a gorge, through patches of light and shadow, stepping where the branches parted onto pools of golden mucosa. And beneath the trees on my left, indistinct blankets of pharyngeal primroses stretched out like a carpet. The air seemed to lay soft kisses upon my skin. From the deep belly of the wood came the cooing of wild doves, mingled with the warm, gastric gurgling of a welcoming brook. The ground there was so overlain with primroses that avoiding them was impossible, lost as they were in that digestive churn. The sweetness of the air and the green of the fronds, dripping with enzymatic liquors, almost filled me with reverence. At last, I emerged from that garden through an orifice of hedges and brambles, sweaty and disheveled, like a man freshly torn from his mother's womb. Oh my lord, we're gonna cut more meat. I mean, it's really gonna... Oh, shit. How about that? Right in the notebook. Completely just faded away. Damn. In the end, it has left me alone. Yet a new energy surges within me, flowing from top to bottom, carried like a bolus deep into my most hidden bowels. I myself, it seems, am changed. It is the simplest explanation, and yet the wretchedest one. Thus, why shouldn't I have become part of this splendid essence, a link in a metabolic... Thus, why shouldn't I have become part of this splendid essence, a link in a metabolic chain that always finds its final rest in the vilest of excretions? Use the bucket in the cellar. What are we doing with the bucket? Yeah, collect the feces, oh my god. Jesus Christ. That fucking desperate for that flavor again. Slice the bread. Just making some shit toast. Alright, well. You do you, boo. Spread the feces on the bread. Plate the dish. Eat. Well. Seems extra shaky right now. What a catastrophe! A sharp, biting taste, filthy as a guttered rag, a faded memory of its once pristine purity. Perhaps too diluted, the spirit of tastiness and delight has scattered along the way. Perhaps its graces and virtues have surrendered to the stomach, and from there to the flesh entirely. Nothing remains for me now but to surrender to one last attempt. God damn, things are looking a little different outside. Go to the cellar, grab the cleaver, and cut the meat. Are we gonna be serving up part of ourselves? Because that's kind of what I assumed was gonna happen before we ate shit. Yep. See, I assumed that was just gonna be this next step. But I guess, you know. Yep. Oh, we're just adding it to the pan. Okay. Right in the notebook. I notice, with a certain astonishment, a twitch in my lashes and tears that blur my vision. Tears? Tears. I don't know what I fucking said. I notice, with a certain astonishment, a twitch in my lashes and tears that blur my vision. And yet, by some cruel contradiction, my eyes burn like flames on dry stubble, scorched by their own dryness. Like earth cracked by drought, the very draught of the soul which has already drained every last tear before it can fall. And thus it happens that, like who gazes too long upon the high sun, finding no haven in the shadow of night, I feel myself consumed by fire, without a single tear to quench the blaze. Chop the meat? No, we're just okay, just plate the dish. Eat. How do you feel about yourself, I guess? And it's red. Did we go too far? Probably went too far. I feel my vigor leaving me, yet I still breathe in the glory of the tasting. Little time remains, and I must make the most of it, so that my final work may take shape. God, spirit, or devil, whoever you are, grant me one last faithful taste. Grant me but a thread of oil over this tepid pottage, my very life. Are we doing one more step? God damn, we are. Go to the cellar, grab the cleaver, and cut the meat. Well, what are we cutting this time? Huh. It's the alien. Yep, created for the Spaghetti Invasion Game Jam 2025. Well, not bad. Nice, concise little story there. Kind of a little unexpected. Also, I guess kind of really expected, the whole alien thing. But still, really liked that. Nice. Nice. All assets present in the game are created during the game jam as well, with the exception of generic audio effects. Cool. Very cool. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Extra big thanks if you made it all the way to the end. That was Cucina Stellata, or Starred Cuisine. Kind of happy that I guessed Alien right off the bat and was correct. But yeah, what a story. I kind of get the urge of eating and, you know, just being driven by hunger. Like I would say, I think with my stomach most of the time. I know there was one day once when I was in my teens, I spent like $400 on fast food in a single day. That was when I was working at my first job as well. It paid really well, but my mom didn't believe me at the time. She was accusing me of buying drugs that day, and it's like I did buy drugs, I guess, and I'll admit that. But I didn't spend any of that 400 on the drugs. That was some other money, but $400 straight up just on fast food. I really like eating. Yeah, it takes a lot to keep me sated as well. So I really get it, and like the story of Terrare as well, which if you haven't heard of Terrare, you should look into that. I won't talk much about that here, except for it was a man pretty much cursed with a stomach. Yeah, terrible, terrible stuff. It was a really, really well done story. I really enjoyed it. I recommend checking them out on Twitch, on Itch if you're interested at all, and to support them. And yeah, just thanks again. We'll see you in another video.